Hello everyone, I am Latch Me Cuerda. Today, we will having another topic to discuss, which is the attributes of the 21st century of teaching and learning, as well as Indonesia and its literacy rate. But before that, let me introduce first our speakers for today's presentation. First is yours truly, followed by Miss Mitzi May Diluvio, Miss Angeli, Miss Nicole Eve Mariñas, and Mr. Pollen Risty Bayarcal. So as you can see, there are 8 attributes of the 21st century in teaching and learning. First is integrated and interdisciplinary. It is an effective and relevant way to teach the 21st century competencies and to apply the transdisciplinary skills necessary for solving complex global problems. Second is technologies and multimedia. Multimedia technologies offers today's classroom teachers the opportunity to move from a largely linear learning environment to an increasingly non-linear environment. Third is the global classrooms. Global classroom is an exceptional way to teach students about new things happening across the world, especially technological innovations. Not only that, but students also gather global perspectives, learn time zones, identify cities and countries around the world, and enjoy the first-hand learning experience. The fourth one is creating, adapting to constant personal and social change and lifelong learning. It is a kind of independent and creative learning experience that helps learners survive in a rapidly changing society. The idea is to engage in constant personal learning in order to be adaptable and flexible. Here now is Miss Mitzi May Diluvio, the next reporter, to continue what are the other attributes of the 21st century of teaching and learning.
Let's continue knowing the attributes of 21st century teaching and learning. Student-centered. Student-centered learning environments are more beneficial to students' learning as it allows them to learn by doing, communicating, and conduct independent research, among other things. 21st century skills. It is not enough for students to learn the fundamental skills of reading, writing, and numeracy. They must also develop skills that will help them cope with life and work of the 21st century communities, such as critical and creative thinking skills, problem solving, decision making, and ICT literacy and skills. As a teacher, you are expected to possess these 21st century skills before you can help your students develop these skills. Project-based and research-driven. This implies that teachers in the 21st century must be skilled in research in order to guide their students' learning through self-directed activities such as learning projects, both inside and outside of the classroom. Students also must develop a question and are guided through research under the teacher's supervision. And the last one is the relevant, rigorous, and real world. This attribute signifies that topics that are imparted utilizing current and appropriate information, that they are linked to real-life situations and contexts. To ensure that your lessons are relevant to your students' experiences, you must keep up with the most recent trends, advancements, and problems in your school, community, and wider globe as a teacher in the 21st century.
Now, let us know more about Indonesia as a country and its literacy rate. Indonesia became a member of ASEAN nation on August 8, 1967, and its capital city is Jakarta. Indonesia's official currency is known as Indonesian rupiah, and its exchange rate to US dollars is 0.00066, while its exchange rate to Philippine peso is 0.0039 Philippine peso. Indonesia's official language is known as Bahasa Indonesia, and there are more than 700 languages and dialects that are spoken in the archipelago. As you can see, these are the ethnic languages in Indonesia. some of which are Batak, Sasak, Dayak, and more. Moreover, the language of instruction that Indonesian people use is Indonesian or Bahasa Indonesia.
The percentage of ethnic group in Indonesia is 26%, and the total population year 2022 is 275,501,339. Unitary state, republic, and presidential system is the type of government in Indonesia where unitary state means a system of political organization in which most or all of the governing power resides in a centralized government, while presidential system defined as a form of government in which a head of government, typically with the title of president, leads an executive branch, while republic means a form of government in which supreme power is held by the people and their elected representatives. And now let's talk about the education in Indonesia. The agency who took care of their education is the Ministry of Education and Culture. In the year 2021-2022, there are approximately 148.86 thousand actively primary schools, both public and private, and there were 125 state universities in Indonesia. In the year 2019, public spent 2.8% in education as a share of GDP, short for Gross Domestic Product. And now let's move on to the overall literacy rate of Indonesia. In the past 30 years, the overall literacy rate of adults in Indonesia was 81.52%, while the literacy rate of male adults was 82.2%, and for the female adults was 75.27%.
And here, we have the school structure or school format in Indonesia. Although Indonesia is a secular country, the education system, especially in the private sector, includes Islamic education in their curriculum. As you can see, the education system in their country begins at the age of 4 to 5, where children attend preschool or learning centers for a year or two, then followed by junior secondary, senior secondary, tertiary undergraduate, tertiary graduate, and tertiary doctorate. And now let's talk about the education in Indonesia, specifically the length of their academic calendar. In their country, the school year is divided into 2 semesters. The first semester starts from July and ends in December, while the second one starts from January and ends in the month of June. For the teacher-to-student ratio, the average student per teacher ratio is 17.03. So basically, there are 17 to 18 students per one teacher. For the future plans of education, the Indonesian country aims to improve the equality of education and hopes that they can develop a world-class education system by the year of 2025. And now let's move on to the top 10 universities in Indonesia. For the first spot, we have the universities or Universitas Indonesia. For the second one, we have the Universitas Gadjah Mada, then followed by Universitas Brawijaya. For the fourth one, the Institute Technology Bandung, then followed by Universitas Bina Nusantara, Universitas Pajajaran, Universitas Sibalas Maret, Universitas Diponegoro, and lastly is the Institute Pertahanan Bogor.